Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is July 9th, and it is currently 7:10. And I would accept a motion to start our town meeting.
July 13th.
Oh, July 13th.
It's too hot to remember the date.
I just looked at 7 o'clock and said 7. Okay, it's July 13th at 7:11. And I will accept a motion for us to start town meeting.
I'll make that motion as stated, Mayor. Councilmember Bowles, Ward 3.
I'll second it, Councilmember, Ward 2, Hobbs.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. This meeting is now open. Okay, for the record, Clerk Treasurer Dan Baden is absent today. All council members are present. And I will move forward. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, can you remain standing and let's have a moment of silence? Think about those shut in, people who lost loved ones, everyone who's dealt with COVID-19 and so many other things. Let's just take a moment and think about those people. Thank you for that. I would like to take an extra moment for us to take a moment and rejoice in the good things that we have in our life, our family, our friends, all the things that we're really excited about. So let's just rejoice in a second and take a moment to do that. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that put a smile on your face. Okay, so our first item on this agenda is our scholarship recipient award. We're waiting for one more, so we're gonna see if they have time to come and move on to the garden club and then come back to the recipients. Come back to the recipients. Just so everybody knows, I'm so excited that we actually have people in the room. Can we all give everybody a hand? We have come out on this side of things. We're still being protective of what we need to protect, but we're able to come back together again. This is so exciting to do that. So happy to be here. And so I want to start with, I want to let everybody know we are on Zoom as well as in person. And if anybody who's on Zoom and during citizens comment would like to make some comments, please put them in the chat. The chief will read them out for you so that you can participate as well if you're on Zoom. This is recorded. We're actually also televising. So we got that back again. And so it's a good day going forward. So our group of garden clubs, I want to let you all know, I'm happy to say that last week we did approve what was in the budget. The $2,000 is what wound up in the budget for the garden club. And that's approved for you to move forward in spending as needed, as you know, the routine of bringing in the receipts. And so I understand that you guys have created a community garden wish list. And like to go ahead and talk about that above and beyond what we have given. We have budgeted.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Chief,
Thank you.
Mr.
Good
Barr,
evening.
citizen residents, thank you for hearing us out.
Can you go ahead, say your name
Oh,
and where
I'm
you?
sorry. My name is Doretha Epps. I live on 4309 Lawrence. I am the president of the community garden. We are doing great things in our garden. I want to thank everyone for coming out for our wine in the garden. It was a nice, great turnout. I appreciate everybody that came out. But we're trying to do more in the garden. We want to promote the garden and bring neighbors and the citizens and everybody together that lives in town. So my request is this, I don't know, did you, each one of y'all, did y'all get my request sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yes, mhm.
Yeah, I think that's what, yeah. And, well, I requested, $4,300, but I took off 1,000 of it, and now it's like 3325. And this only to bring, this is for, rebuilding the plot in the garden. And we have Reverend Edison kids that comes out on October and April, the fall, the spring of each year, to come out and help. We have to feed them. And building the walls, building the plots is not going to be cheap. And we have Maryland University kids, they're coming out. We want to supply them with water and food if we have to as well. I didn't put that on here, but we want to also try to collaborate with the recreation department sometimes on some of these things, because we want to promote the garden. This is the reason why we're asking for so much money this year, because we're trying to promote the garden, try to bring people out to see the garden, get a feel of it, and try to get a plot if they want one. But that's all I really have to say, because everything else I have written out, what we're requesting.
Okay, I just want to, I'm going to state the line items here.
Yeah, sure,
For people
please.
who are watching or
Please.
listening,
Yes,
because it also gives everybody an idea of the great things that you're trying to do.
Right.
In the garden. So there's a water tank for for the gardens at 375. You have garden covers. I don't know what is.
the garden covers, like in the winter months, we put the garden to sleep. And to do that, we put a cover over the garden, but we want it to be more presentable instead of just throwing stuff on there just to keep,
Uh-huh.
but we want to make it more presentable, this, for going moving forward, because the covers that we have, we can keep and use them over and over again. So that's just, this probably, hopefully this is a one-time
Okay.
offer, yes.
And then a retaining wall. Now you said that you got that down. Is that what you got down to 1,000?
Excuse me, I'm Julianne Buffet. I don't know what I am.
She's a master gardener.
She's our master gardener.
Master gardener.
The covers are there to help prevent the further weed and deteriorate the soil. So we had covers. That means we have good soil to start our garden for the spring. It's a one-time investment, but it's a good investment because, as Rita said, we can use it year after year.
Got it.
Thank you.
Got it. And the wall.
Retaining wall blocks, those are the plots.
Right.
Like the West Garden we redid, we took all the wood out because the wood, you have to keep revisiting. The block walls, you don't have to revisit ever again unless you want to build up.
Mhm.
When we put these in, this is going to last until somebody decided, no, we don't want them anymore. This will last forever.
Mhm.
So this is self-sustainable.
And our sheet says 2,000. Is this the where?
Yeah, I looked it up because they're
1,000?
like $1.98 for one.
So that's 1,000 instead of the 2,000.
It's supposed to be 2,000.
Oh, so I thought you said you.
I'm sorry, no, it's 2,000.
Okay, so it's 2,000.
Yes.
Okay, so the paint and sip in the garden.
Yes, that's to promote the garden and get
Mhm.
people out, get the neighbors out. Some more like a recreational, but also trying to get people to see where the garden is. And
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. And then the Halloween decorations.
the Halloween decoration for the we want to promote. We just want it to look good. We really want to do some type of activity in the garden, but we haven't decided yet because everybody's not here. We haven't met on it, but we really want to try to do some type. With like one year we did.
We
with
did
kids
the,
came down and we had storytelling and all that.
storytelling in
Yes,
the
in
garden
yes.
one year with the,
Yes.
on the haystack where
Right, on
everybody
the
came.
hayride. They came
Hayride,
down on the
right.
hayride. It was one that stopped they made, yes.
Yeah.
And this time it will be both gardens, be the west and the east garden, and they'll be
Mhm.
making the stop on.
Okay, and Christmas decorations for both gardens.
Including the triangle where the rose bed
And the-
is, because
and
we
the
want to put the
triangle.
Christmas tree there, and that's where we want the lighting to go.
And then the wine and cheese in the garden in August.
Yes.
And then the wood workshop. Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
in the garden, and then the weed cloth.
Yeah, this is the heavy weed cloth. I don't know if you all see the West Garden, you see the black cloth. That's, when I tell you, that's great. It really, we don't have to do much weeding as we usually do. If that cloth wasn't there, that would be a jungle right now. So the cloth is really stopping the weed.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Now, so is it 4,325 or?
It's supposed to be 4,000, but I took off some of the things because I wasn't sure. I was trying to
What were you taking off?
I
'Cause-
took off the wine and cheese and the Halloween and the Christmas decoration.
Oh,
But I mean, we could keep it on and keep the $4,300.
okay. So I have a question about the blocks. Is it possible to get some blocks from Community Forklift?
We went over there and looked, they may not have enough.
Uh,
We can go over there and we could take a look. That probably would help. But Susanna is my contact person, and our building block is not that much money. So,
Oh, how much is the money? Where's
You-
the money, most of the money?
well, right now, I think we spent, it was, I can't remember, but the yellow, I have to go back and look at my thing, my email, but the yellow bench, the benches out there you see in the West Garden, we get from them. It was 6 of them, and I think they were like $85.
For the, not for the block. You said the block doesn't
No,
cost
no,
that
no, no,
much
this
money?
is a bench. They like benches. This is for you where somewhere to sit when you're there in the garden.
No, I meant the cost of the retaining wall
Oh,
block.
the retaining wall. Well, I was explaining, I don't know, we had that much money left at the community forklift because of the purchase of the.
Oh, okay, now I understand what you were
Yeah,
saying.
for the purchase of the seats.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody, council, any questions?
So, sorry. Garden cover, your numbers seem low. Sorry, your numbers actually seem low to me.
Well, because I'm a little nervous if I put more, we're gonna be denied, so I thought 43 was sufficient enough, so.
Hey, listen, ask for the moon and then let us say no, but
Yeah.
that's how we do it. That's how the mayor does it.
Yeah,
You do it too.
I mean, we could always come back more, I hope later, but right now,
But
yeah.
that seems low to me, Miss
Well-
Epps, like garden covers for both gardens, for all of the plots is only $150.
Well, they 75, I think, if I remember, Dan has the receipt, well, I think it's $75 a piece.
So the cover, it would be $75 and it
For
would.
the
cover-
heavy cloth, the
It
heavy
would cover the
cloth.
whole garden.
Yeah, it would cover, yeah, because
these
it's
are not-
wide and it's like 300 feet long or something like that.
It's
So,
a huge
yeah,
top. You're
it's
not
really-
talking
it's
about
really
individual
huge.
covers.
Oh,
for
no, no, the
plots.
individual one is the garden cover itself that we put on the plot, the second one. That's
I
the individual
see.
ones we use. That's the third one, I'm sorry, the third one covers, the covers the $150.
Yes.
Yes,
That's-
that's cheap. Those are not expensive. They're like maybe $6, $7 if,
Oh, so the heavy weed cloth is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
the
talking
heavy-
about
yeah, the
being.
heavy weed cloth are expensive.
I see. So that's the cover for the whole plot, the whole garden,
Yes,
the whole garden.
yes.
And some of these events, you're going to recoup some money, right? I mean, I noticed today with if it's a non.
Yeah,
Community
like,
member,
if they're not, if they don't live in town, they would have to pay.
I see.
All of these things that we're doing in the garden, this is free only to the residents.
So some of this would be defrayed potentially by ticket price or by admission price. I see. Fine. Have you spoken with there's some discussion about events being planned around Hollywood, Halloween and Christmas, possible collaboration on those events?
I
Is
have
that-
not talked to recreation yet. I'm waiting for this meeting and we'll come up and talk to recreation to collaborate with them.
Okay. Chris, I think there's a
Yeah.
new committee forming. Am I?
So yes, I'm happy, Ms. Apps, that you're actually doing some of the events like that fall technically under the rec committee, but since the rec committee is not really meeting at the moment, that is a great initiative. So yes, I have a few questions, but so you commented on the Halloween, which you're planning to do, the storytelling in the garden. And I was wondering, what are you planning to do for the wood workshop?
For the wood workshop, so there's going to be, same as the paint, like the city paint, the person gonna have all the stuff you would need. You have a board, and it's going to be a welcoming sign that you can hang up at your door. She's gonna show you how to make it out of wood. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Okay, will it be like sewing or like?
No, no, no,
like
no, you'll
burning?
be, probably, I think it's gonna be letters, but you're
Not
gonna
sewing,
also be
sew.
able to scratch it out,
Oh,
edge it out.
scratch.
Is it
Uh-huh.
edging?
Yeah,
Okay.
Etching.
Etching
I
and
see.
woodwork.
Yeah,
Etching,
yeah.
okay. And you have already a person who will be conducting the
Yes,
workshop
uh-huh,
security,
yeah.
okay. So a quick question, how many people you have currently registered for the workshop for the painting in the
Oh,
garden?
I did not look, I'm
You didn't
sorry.
look-
I
Okay,
didn't
well,
look.
I was just wondering if we want to give priority to the residents first.
Right.
Or limit maybe, because I'm not sure. I think that event will be very popular, will sell out.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to see what the numbers are currently. I've registered, now I'm going
Okay,
with
okay.
this, yeah.
I will email the mayor and council the numbers when I get back home, okay?
Yes, but
Yeah.
also like it would be a good event to see if there's for the future, to see if there is a need in this type of workshop for the community outside.
Mhm.
And will give us a good idea on the numbers,
Okay.
residents versus non-residents, and we can then prioritize it depending on that. If we want to give more seats or assign certain quotas to the residents versus non-residents.
Okay. And I also request that we kind of like post this. I haven't seen it posted yet. And so the residents would know that we're doing this, because I've been looking on the website and everything. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, we'll make sure it's posted
Okay.
and circulated.
I had a comment. Well, first, I want to say thank you for the work that you do. And also, I want to change the stigma about you requesting money, because right now I don't like that it feels like a nervous thing for you. You're doing great work in the community, and this is for you to enhance the work that you're doing. So
Thank you.
thank
Yes.
you very much for that. But my question is in regards to your total, the 4,325, is that additional to the 2,000 that we've already accepted to pass?
Oh,
Or is that
yeah.
2,325 that you're asking for additional?
Yes, it's additional.
Okay,
this
no,
is
no,
addition,
yeah.
yeah, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
It's not even a problem. That's
Okay.
that's all I wanted to know.
I didn't realize that. It's so the 2,000 already has plans.
Yes, it does. I didn't put that in the budget because I didn't know we had it to, I only thought we had 1,000. So I didn't know about the two extra thousand y'all had approved.
Okay, so 1,000 already had plans.
Yes.
So the one of the thousands that we have already authorized can go towards this.
It can.
Okay, okay,
So that brings us back to the 3,000 number again.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
so the 2,000. Am I
No,
correct?
it's
Yeah, the
3,000.
3,325.
Yeah.
So, it's,
Yeah.
it's 3,325 then.
Additional to the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
That's-
to the
okay.
two
Yeah,
we
I mean,
have. It's,
And I think, I mean, we've been able to, in the past, when we did the Halloween and the garden kind of gathered, that the rec council budget could pay for. I think the rec council budget can probably pay for some of these decorations.
okay. We asking. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
asking.
I'm pretty.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
especially for the
it
Christmas
makes- yeah.
holiday, we definitely
Yeah, we
want the
usually are.
recreation part of that.
It absolutely makes sense since we're doing
Yeah.
events and like two events that
Yeah.
we're not doing, and maybe in the rec consult to allocate some of the money from the rec to this.
And we want recreation to use our gardens and the rain garden and the triangle too. We
Brings
really want
people
y'all
out.
out there too.
The tree was,
The what?
the tree was so great last year in the triangle,
Yeah.
you know. We can't, so they can't hear you like on the other mechanisms if you're not at the mic.
What I was thinking is that we could probably write for a grant for a nice medium-sized evergreen and put it, actually plant it in the rose garden. I already took a place out of bushes. So we would have space for it. And then you have a permanent site where you could do a Christmas lighting right there every
Mhm.
year instead
Yes,
of
ma'am.
trying to figure out where to go
Love
to
it.
put it.
Yeah.
So I think that was
Yeah.
a good idea, and I'll check with, what's her name from District Heights? Anyway, I forgot her name, but I'll check with her to see if we can find some grant money to buy the tree, to
Oh,
plant it. 'Cause if we're gonna
okay.
do it, we need to plant it in the fall.
Or you were trying to say, good, Miss Goodall?
Good, yeah.
Goodall,
Goodall,
right.
Goodall. Yeah, poor time. So I'm gonna check with her.
But she's for here now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll check with her to see if we can find something. If we can find a nice evergreen and put it in, you have a tree.
Okay, that would be great. That would be great. So if we look at including so I'm going to leave this to the council, make a motion on what you would like to move forward with. It can be part if you want to now, because I'd like to know how much it's actually going to cost for this, the paint and sip.
500.
Well, at the end of the day, it might be different.
It might be a little bit more because we have to buy some of the stuff. I didn't think of adding all that in there, but yeah.
Well, also, if we want to be sustainable, trying to find things that, you can reuse and we can, do more.
And we have storage to do that. So yes,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think buying up in this case, or, things that last. is
Right.
Probably the better way to go.
And
so-
we also looking for workshop too for the children to do in the garden as well. I just didn't put it on here. Maybe next year we'll probably end up doing it when the spring break.
Okay,
Well, I believe I made the motion last time on the 2,000, did I? But from my talking points so far and from what I've gotten from Ms. Epps, I have no problem making a motion on accepting $3,325 as additional to our 2,000 that we've already made a motion for.
is there a second?
I seconded. Councilmember Hobbs.
Okay, any further discussion? I just want to say the garden is the happiest thing in this town. The garden's so excited. I mean, and I actually just want to point out to everybody that doesn't know it, the garden club formed outside of this town municipal government as a set of people who just decided they wanted to beautify the town and was working to beautify the town. And as we had funding from Kaiser Permanente, and it was a really sustainable project, we were all able to jump on it and help with it and help it grow. And it's been really sustainable and a really, really great thing. I like you guys' leadership for keeping it going and moving forward.
Thanks to the rest of the members.
Yes, sir. And I really look forward to us doing more in the park, especially with COVID, it's just so much better.
Yes,
than
being out.
Have to be inside. Al, any other discussion?
I just would like to echo the mayor. And I know that in my time in the town and also as my time since December, since I was elected, the members of the Garden Club have been reaching out with wisdom and support and kindness. And I think you all are a huge part of the heartbeat of the community. And I also want to encourage you to remember that the American Recovery Act funds are very much in support of green, sustainable water activities and other such things. So don't disappear and don't stop asking, because I think you're doing amazing work that can be supported by these monies. So I thank you so much for being here and I appreciate you very much.
Oh, thank you so
I'm
much.
gonna call for a vote now. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
I
Ward 3,
Enthusiastic aye.
Ward 4,
Aye.
and the mayor votes aye.
Yay! Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, as Mr. Baden would say, we now have to transfer the money.
So should I make my report now too?
Well, yeah, we're still waiting for, but let me, we got to transfer the money
Okay,
because it's not in the budget. So we
Okay.
need to transfer the $3,325 from surplus to the garden club.
The community garden.
The community garden. The
Yes.
community garden. So is there a motion for us to transfer money?
I'll make that motion as stated, Mayor.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for, any discussion. Call for a vote. Ward 1, Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4,
Aye.
and Mayor votes aye. All
Thank you
right,
so
that's a
much.
done deal.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
You all, thank you.
You
So
want
on
to
our-
give your garden?
Our garden report, like I was saying earlier, I thank everybody for coming up for wine in the garden. We're still working on the West Garden. Maryland University student will be out in August. I have to send Doug a list, Councilman Bowles a list about all the activities we're going to be doing in both West and East Garden. But that's basically it, because now the garden's mostly self-sustainable. We brought all the chips in, thanks to the help of the garden members, and Public Works finished the last little bit we had and brought it in for us. But that's it. That's almost our report.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you
Anything
all.
else? I want to thank you for the event earlier last month. That was awesome,
Yeah,
you know, and it was a great start to springtime and summertime. So thank you.
Okay.
Good job. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. So we're going to move forward. Let me see, who do we have present? We are happy to have agreed to have scholarships given out to members of the community. And I want to ask Chief Stone the process of the scholarship process, so everybody knows.
Certainly. This year, well, let me back up a little bit. For the fiscal year 21, which started over a year ago, the town budgeted a customary $2,000 for a scholarship program. Due to COVID, we cut a lot of things last year, and unfortunately, scholarship got cut a little bit too. That got cut down to $1,000. Myself and two other community members, Mrs. Cade and Vivian Jackson, former council member, solicited scholarship applicants, and we interviewed each and picked the top 3 and divided the $1,000 by 3. So we're happy to announce the 3 winners, or the 3 that were chosen tonight. Very deserving. We wish we could give them lots of money, full scholarships and all that, but we're not quite at that level.
And what did they have to do to get scholarships?
They had to submit an essay, which really could be an essay or a form of a poem or some kind of original writing. Show that they had at least a 2.0 average, and I don't recall.
A recommendation?
Except.
Yeah, I'm sorry, recommendation, yes, and they have to be they have to be under 21 years of age and be accepted to a post-secondary institution, which could be in this case, all of them are colleges, and all of them happen to be Prince George's Community College, but they could be trade school, like cosmetology, or police academy, fire academy, something along those lines. But in this
Okay.
case, they were all students at Prince George's Community College.
Awesome. Great college. One of my alma maters. I went there. It's good school. Okay, so let's see who we have in the audience. Do we have Mr. Manigo? Okay, and do we have Ms. Perry? Okay. And so we're missing a. Okay, so do you want to take a picture as we do a presentation? Do you want to do the entire council? Y'all want to all get up, take a picture with the recipient, or, okay, the ward?
No, off the iPhone, which one you got? We need 4K.
Got the best one?
I'm pleased to budget.
Okay, so Ms. Perry, you want to come up?
So the graduates. Oh, you guys are talking.
Oh, okay.
I'll make it personal.
She's suggesting that the side folks turn our names.
I did always good ideas. Thank
Come
you so
back.
much. That makes sense. That makes sense. She suggested we turn the,
Yeah. so
turn
that
the
they see.
nameplates towards the people.
Yes, that'd be helpful, wouldn't
Makes
it?
sense, right.
Yeah, yeah. You got your money. You're all good. You
You're welcome.
guys have a good evening.
Oh, we
Good
love
luck in school. I know you'll do great.
Thank you all.
all the audience.
I know, right?
Everyone's
Now it's
excited.
a party of.
Yeah, we should have.
I used to do that kind of thing all the time to hold your audience together,
I
but
know.
you know.
I was so excited.
Or
I was
fight shots.
really, I thought people
Might make
came
me stay
here
there.
for some reason, for us, like.
Get some money.
Yeah, come on now. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it either.
That seemed the only reason, unfortunately.
That's all right.
Yeah.
When I got sworn in, it was the parking permit.
Oh, that was packed.
So it was a full house.
Oh,
Yeah, that was one of those times I did that on purpose. And they all had to wait to talk about
Maybe
parking
we should
permits
do
until
it.
they got sworn in. All right, moving on.
All right.
Got some good news stuff. And our next item on the agenda is completely missing. Oh, here it is. Okay, a work session report, just to report on what we did at the work session. Okay, we had a conversation about Port Town transportation and came to a consensus that if we could get the other towns involved, that we'd be willing to put in approximately $20,000 to purchase a new bus. And Mr. Baton is going to follow up by taking that back to the other port towns and see where they are with that process. And everyone, all the towns were taking it back to their councils for that discussion. We talked about MML and some of the things that could be brought back to the town, useful information from MML. We talked about charter amendments and reviewing the charter to look and see if there's some things that are outdated or may need some changes that we would talk about in the future. We talked about the American Rescue Plan funding and talked about establishing a planning meeting. And we agreed to put out an RFP to review a person to come in and assess our needs in the community and what we may or may not need, or how we may help people and businesses very targeted and with the best sustainable outcomes. And then we talked about a handicap space on 43rd and Newton Street. We approved the handicap space on Newton Street. We authorized budget purchases, items that were already in the budget, including funding for the circuit rider, the community garden, small business marketplace, End Time Harvest Ministries, storage shed, trash cans, the storage shed for Public Works, trash cans, the fire department donation, the police computers, police bicycles, and the police electric car. We talked about opening up the meeting to the public, which we're able to do today. And that's it. There was a closed session that was held during this meeting. And so any other things I left out? All right. So that's a report on the work session. So now we'll go to council reports, Ward 1.
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Harden. Fortunate reports this, well, somewhat. Ward 1 residents have a question on the consistency of the time trash is picked up from Bates. A lot of people have been noticing that there's been sort of an inconsistency during the week that's been causing the trash buildup, especially during storms like we recently had last week. Second concern from the residents is our efforts against stray dogs / dogs off the leash. It's becoming a more and more relevant thing in the summertime. We're starting to see a lot of stray dogs, and I'm not sure if we have like collar laws, but there should be, because we need to know if these are owned by somebody. And lastly, I just wanted to put this out there because there's not much we can do on the subject. I've already talked to code enforcement, but it is neighborly to maintain your yard. I've received a lot of complaints about hanging trees that are over fences. Not only is this a threat to a hazard of danger, but it's also, it leaves bushes and branches in other people's yards that they have to clean up. So this is just a reminder to be mindful of your yard and your neighbor. That's my ward report.
Thank you. It's always a good thing to be mindful of your neighbors. Right? Ward 2.
So just last week, I organized together with a few residents an event. Playing tennis with neighbors. There will be a continuous, hopefully a continuous event going forward. Hopefully we're planning on doing this every 2 weeks, and we had quite a good turnout. 9 people showed up, and we've had enough tennis rackets to play in 1 court and practice. So a lot of the people were at the beginner level. So we luckily we had a few people who were knowledgeable, and I'm not one of them. I'm also learning. That's why I'm doing this, because I want to become better. To teach a simple basics on like how to hold the tennis racket, and how to serve the ball, for instance. We had kids actually showing up, one child, and teenagers showing up as well. So that tells me that there is a need in promoting these type of active events that promote also healthy lifestyle in the community. And also they go in line with our sustainability goals. Potentially, I see we may need to hire a trainer who would teach us some of the basics, because we don't want people to learn and solidify their knowledge and do things incorrectly. In tennis, it's really important at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's potentially maybe we can bring a coach for, let's say, an hour or 2-hour sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So the next session we are having is on July 24th. So
Mhm.
it's on a Saturday, and it's from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. We also had nice cold tea, and everybody had a good time. So that was one item that I wanted to touch upon, and also I received a resident complaint regarding a dead tree. The resident is claiming the tree is dead on the neighboring property, but it's shedding branches and debris. It's been dead for a while. So I contacted Mr. Wade, and according to the citizen, Mr. Wade came to the property. However, a further assessment is necessary whether the tree is dead. So I'm not sure what the next steps are in this process. I'm waiting for the email, but it's a hazard for the resident. It's the tree is not on his property. And the tree's been dead. So either as a town, I would like for us to look into the issue. Next item, on June 21st, as part of the Green Team meeting, we held a Zoom session in an effort to recruit more members. Unfortunately, the turnout was very low, and part of the reason maybe it's on Zoom because it was on Zoom and people are ready to meet in person. I encourage residents to join the Green Team, where we tackle various sustainability issues, including stormwater management, then a healthy living, active lifestyle, and other issues. So I just also want to mention that next Green Team meeting is a joint Green Team meeting together with the town of Cottage City, and it is on July 20th. It will be held in Colmar Manor. The place will be determined. We are planning to do it outside if weather permits. But I invite all the residents to join. We would like to increase the engagement, increase the participation. And yes, that will be it. That is my word or two report for the months. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ward 3.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I don't know where the camera is. So I'm sorry if you're looking at the back of my head. Just wanted to let everybody know, and you don't need to be told how hot it is. So I'm just telling you, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. If you're showing any of the signs of heat sickness like dizziness, nausea, fainting, call for help, call 911. I want to encourage everybody to check on their neighbors. I've been walking around checking on folks and making sure some of the seniors have air. And I believe Miss Renee is still doing that as well, but look out for each other and check on each other. I had the opportunity this week to pass an air conditioner on to a fellow council person whose air conditioning system went down. I have 2 more in my basement, so if anybody is needing them. And I also want you to know that there's a resource for that in our area, and that's Community Forklift. So I called over today. They are actually desperate for air conditioning units. So if you are a person in town who has converted over to a central air system, or if you have a unit in your basement or garage that you're not using and it is operable, Community Forklift would very much like to receive those and pass those on to the community. If you're a person in need of one of those things, you can go to communityforklift.org, page down to the gray box that says Home Essentials, and there you can register for assistance. Or if you need assistance and you have a vision issue, or you don't have those a computer or other electronic device, you can call Susanna at Community Forklift at 301-955-5180, 301-955-5180. That's Susanna. They are there 7 days a week from 12 to 5. Or I suppose when we're open, you can come to Town Hall and we can give you a cup of water and give you a place to stay for a little bit. Anyway, I wanted to point out a couple of things from Angela Alsobrook's office. In addition to the food that's being given out here in town that you're being notified with via text and email, there are some stand-up and the stand-up and deliver program is still going on. So I just wanted to make you aware of a couple of places. This Friday at 11:30, One person, one box, not one person, but one box per car. Stay in your car at 11:30 a.m. Friday, Victory Grace Center, Port Towns Elementary School, 4351 58th Place. And then Saturday, July 7th at 8:30 a.m., food is being given out at First Baptist Church, Sheriff Road, Landover, New Hope Baptist Church, Landover Road, Kingdom Fellowship, AME, Powder Mill Road in Beltsville, and at 9 a.m. that same day, Ebenezer Church of God. And so there you go. Prince George's County is reopening 5 of its senior centers. Some of those include meals, all include activities. Those are for seniors 60 and over. You can visit pgparks.com, and PG County has reached 70% for vaccination. In addition to the scholarships that we handed out tonight, for those 12 and older now, Prince George's County is offering vaccination. If you would like to register in Prince George's County, just go to mypgc.us/COVID vaccine. That's mypgc.us/COVID vaccine, or call 311 and press the hashtag or number for assistance. They have a program called the VaxU program. If you are 12 to 17 in Prince George's County and you get vaccinated and are willing to leave your contact information for the next, I think, 6 or 7 weeks, they're going to be drawing 2 names each week. And those names will be awarded with a 4-year scholarship, a $50,000 scholarship to any 4-year public college or university in the state of Maryland. Actually, they didn't say state of Maryland, but I'm assuming that. There are 20 total. So if you're someone who needs help with your education and you need a vaccination and you live in Prince George's County, that's a wonderful opportunity. And if you are an online person, it's VAXU scholarship.mhec@maryland.gov. This is some word specific stuff. Just a reminder, fireworks are illegal in Prince George's County, especially those of you that are putting them in tin cans and setting them off in the middle of our streets. Please don't do that. It's very dangerous. Dogs must be leashed in Prince George's County and municipalities on a leash no longer than 6 feet. If your dog is taken from you because you did not have it under control, it's on you. I have received 4 complaints from Ward 3 now in the last month of unleashed roaming dogs defecating on other people's property. Please maintain control over your pets at all times. We have 10 poop stations. We're going to add more, and we're also adding 10 or 11 trash cans to the community. So that's about pets. You are responsible to maintain your sidewalk and your sidewalk grasses and bushes. I had a citizen who did not understand that. And once I explained it to her, she was completely comfortable with it, but admitted that she thought that that was the city's or the town's responsibility. The town is not responsible to clean your sidewalk. You are. You also may not park your vehicle in such a way as to block all or a portion of your neighbor's driveway. We've been having complaints about that, and or across the sidewalk, so pedestrians are forced to go out into the streets. And please don't use your municipal trash cans for your household trash. Please don't. It overflows it and it's overwhelming our guys that are out there doing the work of cleaning up. Colmar Manor Bible Church has restarted its preteen youth group, and that's in Ward 3 for kids 2nd to 6th grade. Every Monday from 6:30 to 8, free snacks, games, mini figure giveaway, and Bible lessons. Pastor is planning to cover the entire New Testament this summer. That's a tall order. I took 3 classes in that in college. Here's some committee events. I've had 2 conversations with 2 of my ward residents around committees. I've got a volunteer for the Hispanic Outreach Committee, which I'm going to be putting in touch with Councilmember Harding of Ward 1. And also one of my citizens has volunteered for the Ethics Committee. I know the mayor mentioned reforming an Ethics Committee when we were first elected. So there is interest there. And I believe there is a new Events and Arts Committee forming. I just want to throw a pitch out there. It's not too soon now to start thinking about our Christmas sing, which I'm hoping to have happen this year. We're looking for singers. We're looking for conductors, anybody that wants to be involved. We love holiday music from any religious tradition or no religious tradition. We'd like holiday music in every person's language, Spanish, Tagalog, English, whatever you speak, bring it. If you're willing to coach all of us that want to participate in how to pronounce the words, we are there for you. So please reach out to me at dbowles@colmarmanor.org if you are interested in participating, and I will take that to the Arts Committee. Believe it or not, I'm almost done. We did visit MML this summer. Thank you and your tax dollars for allowing that to happen for us. It was incredibly helpful for both making connections and learning about the services that are provided to our municipalities throughout the state of Maryland, but also learning about the history of our governmental structures. Good practice for including the public in meetings and having efficient meetings, and many other courses which we took, including diversity training. The mayor mentioned this, but please be aware we are considering 5 charter amendments or adjustments in August. Those are adjustments to your founding document. So as a citizen, I would hope you would be interested in participating in that discussion. And I have to apologize actually to the mayor and council, because I was reached out to by a professor at University of Maryland that has worked with us before. He tried to get to us via Community Development Corporation, but got no response. So Alan Peel, who was actually here for the Pride celebration as well, reached out to me, and that's what Doretha Epps was talking about. So he's going to provide us with, he said, between 20 and 40 students on August 27th.
Awesome.
And I've already talked with the Garden Club about it, and they are full of ideas for how to use them.
Yeah.
So we have them for a few hours. So if there are other ways that they can be helpful in the town, we can talk about that. So my apologies for not forwarding that to you, but there you go. And I also want to just, one last thing is drop a compliment to the mayor, because this morning I walked my dog around town and I was about to call town hall because I said, what is this weirdly sweet smell? What is this thing? What is happening? Something's rotten in town. And it turned out that the mayor has instructed our public works to use natural substances, including vinegar, which is what I was smelling, to try to attack our weed issue here in town. And so I just want to applaud the mayor for that green and very healthy and sustainable option that's going to go down a lot better in our storm drains than chemicals. And I'm really interested to see how it works, because sometimes, you know, my grandmother used those kinds of things too, and those old ways are sometimes better than boxes of chemicals. So thank you, Mayor, for that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I talked so long. Thank you, everyone. And that's my Ward 3 report.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm gonna go to Ward 4.
Good evening, everyone. It was great to see, the town hall opening back up and having everybody here. I just want to echo everything that the council members were saying. If Colmar Manor isn't busy, it's definitely busy now. We've got committees. If you're not in something, you better get into something, or else you're just going to be lost.
Mhm.
But I love that how everyone is engaged, and I appreciate the tennis that went on this Saturday. Got my little Serena Williams in there. But yeah, it was awesome. And one thing, okay, we didn't bring up definitely to see everyone this Saturday for our cleanup initiative. So I hope everyone joins us. What time do we
10 to 12.
10 to 12, trash free revolution.
That's
for
a
Colmar
trash-free
Manor.
revolution.
And that's it.
Thank you so much for that. I'm gonna give you my report. I do want to mention, I've heard a couple times about trees and people's, what I do know is this, and I'm gonna suggest Councilmember Hobbs about the, if we, would that be going on somebody else's property is like something we have to really seriously know we have to do. So I don't know, is it a way that if the tree is, I don't know. Is code,
We're looking into it.
we're looking into it.
Yes, and it is the tree in question is on private property and hanging over private property. There's no public property involved in it whatsoever. So after the meeting, I'll be speaking with Mr. Barr, and I found in our ordinances, the only thing I thought, the closest thing is that a dead tree is considered rubbish. So That's what I was at.
So if it's- So if a dead tree is considered rubbish.
I
then-
guess at the end of the day, push comes to shove, we could go in and remove it. However, I need to speak with Mr. Barr before that.
Because it's the assessment of the tree itself that has to
The
be
assessment,
clear
that-
that it is
Yeah, that-
dead.
Right. I mean, I look at the tree and I see a big dead tree, but we probably need an arborist to say, that's a dead tree.
Well,
Or
one
taking
thing that I do
action.
know for a fact that everybody should know, that the airspace of your property is your space. And that you have a right to cut a tree that is hanging over your property. You can't cut beyond where it's hanging over your property, but I know this one for a fact, been there, done this, been through it before. That on both sides of that equation, that the person can cut the tree down themselves that's hanging over their property. But I'm sure the resident looks forward to the final analysis
Yes.
on that complicated kind of a thing. And I'll have to just say, from where my tree was hanging over, I was not bothered at all that they wanted to take the tree off that was in their yard. So hopefully people are considerate in that way.
Like I said, it's usually the best option when it's residents' solution. I mean, that's what the code enforcer kind of came to me about. He said, we may not have something to take up with the resident. They may have to come to a solution together, and that'd probably be an easier way or a faster way to solve it.
It is, and it's the more communal way to solve the problem,
And
than,
affordable, because it's several $1,000s to take a healthy tree down that's over 30 or 40 feet. So if it's on a line, you can share the cost if you're amenable to it. So.
exactly, right. So that's one thing. I wanted the August date again for the students that are
For the
coming.
students, it's August 27th.
August 27th.
And I think the latest that they can stay is 3 o'clock. So talk to Miss Julianne, because I know she's
Okay.
already got a list of things.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does. Okay, well, and thank you for commenting on the vinegar. If anybody's smelling vinegar, like, it'll be a minute, but it'll be gone. And the weeds really just need to be cleared out, because it just over impacts what our trash revolution is trying to help. And then things get twisted in, trash gets in the weeds and they stick there, whatnot. So I'm hoping it. I mean, myself and Co went through several YouTube videos looking for what was going to work and, how to do it and how to make it work. So I'm looking forward to that being good.
Well, it's not the worst thing I've smelled on the streets, so
Amen.
Right, yes. I want to triple echo. I think everybody said something about this dog thing, but this dog thing has got to stop.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, but your dog, there's a leash law here. There's a leash law in the county. It's state law. I mean, it's if you can find a place, maybe back in the ball field somewhere, and we can talk about the dog park in
Yeah.
the next session that we have. Great, but we're in a neighborhood where houses are next to each other. We've got all these poop stations. Use them. I mean, it's just not okay, right? You live in a world with other people. It's just not
Yes.
okay. And so I want to triple all of those words about that, because it really is bothersome to hear from people so often, like, why is the dog over, and I hear it all the time from folks who may be trying to walk their dog. And then another dog is all excited about it. But-
Been attacked by him, as a matter of fact.
True, wow.
5 times.
So inconsiderate. We can be more considerate than
Have to.
that.
We have to.
Odell.
Yeah.
So some things that happened in the last, I want to say this is our very first meeting since the governor has lifted the state of emergency.
Wow.
And Maryland has done a terrific job. They won't give us data all the way down to our level, but hopefully, we see improvements. I think we have a new set of normals, and I want to thank everybody for being respectful. I noticed that folks still put on their masks when they go into stores, and which is a respectful thing. People are keeping distance from each other, and I just want to thank everybody for that respect that we seem to have amongst our communities. I also mentioned MML. It was a great event. I went through a leadership for the graduate class. And I also became a board member, which I didn't expect to do. So I'm looking forward to that being a growing experience for me as well. And a lot of other different programs that they had. The inclusive class, I was really excited. It was new and I was excited that they made it an elective too. So it was a part of the Academy of Excellence. There was a flood meeting and a flood meeting with the county for a program building resilient infrastructure and communication grants. I will be looking further into it. Myself and the chief were on that call to find out what's in there that could possibly help us in some of our community, particularly after we get an assessment done of what our needs are, especially around stormwater management. I had a meeting with Neighborhood Design Center to discuss design of our small business marketplace next to the KFC. And look forward to how we may, I'll be bringing this back to the council. They sent us a proposal now so that we can talk through where we want to go and how do we want to go with it. It is not something they can schedule to work with us until early next year. So we can just do the minimum things in order to keep going, but then hopefully we'll get something really exciting coming through them. Juneteenth was absolutely phenomenal. I think everybody for coming out. I want to thank Ms. Monica Casanas for working with us and putting that together. It really turned out to be a great event. And I believe, I don't know if we did our Pride flag before or after the last town
It was
meeting.
on the 10th. Oh, before the last town meeting?
Well, whatever, I'm going to just say that was great too, having.
It was
the
after because
raising
we
the-
passed the resolution on the
Oh,
town
that's
meeting.
right. We had passed resolution. So I want to say publicly that that was a great event. The rain knew where it didn't belong. While it haunted down on us the whole time before and it just didn't happen. And so that was great. I want to thank Councilmember Bowles for putting all of the energy into putting that together. And we will be doing it annually every year. I just want to do mention about COVID and the Delta variant that everybody should be aware of. You know, I look at the numbers quite often and our numbers are ticking up. They really got low. So the ticking up is not that bad right now, but people should be conscious. I very easily ask people, are you vaccinated when I see them? And I would say anybody who is, please encourage those who aren't to get vaccinated. And there's lots of opportunities. CVS, actually Compare Foods is periodically doing it now. I don't know what their cycle is. I can't say every this day or whatever, but check in every now and then. When we're aware, we'll send out an email to everybody, let them know that that's available to them. The green team, I want to echo what Councilmember Hobbs was saying that, you know, we really want to get more participation and being outside, I think will help because the last meeting we had was pretty well attended from Colmar Manor residents, but we did it outdoors in the garden over in Cottage City. So Councilmember Hobbs, as soon as you know where you want to do it, I want to go ahead and get a flyer out right away.
Okay.
So we can start pushing
yes,
it.
so
So where
on
is the only
Thursday-
things?
Let's see. Guess we need to make a decision soon. So on Thursday, can I get back to you on Thursday? and we'll let you
Okay,
know?
all right, cool.
Okay, 15th. Thank you.
And the charging stations are coming this sooner than we thought. I'm so excited, I'm blitzed. So that should be, I mean, that they were telling me like September, but you know, I think we're all gonna be done by the end of this month. And our information sign is late. We should be getting that and hopefully that'll be done by the end of this month. And we're gonna have like a Green Street celebration. When we have this, you know, we've got our permeable pavers there, we've got the charging stations, we'll have this coming in. I was hoping I could get, because you know, we're supposed to get bike share, TC, the bike share is supposed to come too. And they've been just dragging their feet and I keep bugging them, like, when are y'all coming? When they coming? And then COVID came and they're like, so it would have been nice if we could have that there too before we actually do our big dedication. of our Green Street. And there's a lot more to do on the Green Street. So Ms. Goodall is consistently looking out for any grants that we can get to do more things there. So she's working on that. We have started doing home rentals again. And crazy enough is like, we're booked up for several weeks. I mean, and as soon as people are knowing, I mean, we're booked, we've got things booked for December and January already. And yeah, and the rest of this month. So I expect that to start moving really fast. I mean, we have protocols. Everybody has to sign a waiver when coming in the building. And if the host wants us to require vaccinations for their event, then we will take on that as well and require that the vaccination cards are there. Cleanup this weekend, somebody mentioned it. We're doing another cleanup. Hope everybody can come out. You know, we'll have some kind of a meal, you know, some kind of a snack, something for people afterwards. And we'll have a list of addresses, streets in town so that people will know we can organize where everybody goes. So we'll be putting out a lot more of that starting tomorrow and to get that going. There's going to be another pop-up on the 24th and then another pop-up on, I think, the next of the August the 4th or whatever. I attended the Wine in the Garden, which was awesome. And I want to say this, and I'm going to say this publicly, because once I say it publicly, I put my foot down on myself. We will have a newsletter out by the end of next week
Awesome, yay.
by electronics and by paper.
Good.
And I'm making that commitment. So I'll make the commitment, I'll make it happen. I'll put that on myself, and that'll be the end of my report today.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, so our next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Mr. Barr, you want to go through it?
Well.
Is your microphone on? Turn your microphone on. Pull it up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In your packet, as you have received it, as I have received it, I should say, is the treasurer's report for fiscal 2020 through June 2021. In other words, fiscal 2021. Not the report for the first, yes, for the
This is
for the last month
year.
of June. Here in July, you have the annual report. I think the things to note are the tremendous drop in revenue by the town. And each of you can review the categories that Mr. Baden lists. And in some, there's been a very good recovery, real estate taxes, for instance. Budgeted at 999,005. We got so far 993,360. That's 99.4% of what was budgeted. Other items, as you go down through them, are small items of zero. Other items are not so great, but the problem is that COVID has cost us a great deal. If you go to look at the expenses are there. They didn't drop. And because of that, the town spent money it had from its reserves. And that money will have to be gotten back, whether it's through the American Rescue Act, whether it's through savings, whether it's through future additional income. I really don't have any idea, but I do know that you will solve the problem. And that would conclude my report now.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Barr. Is there a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion as stated.
Okay, any discussion? So I will just point out, and for the record, as percentages go of the budget, and this is the end of the year budget, I'm sorry, end of the year reporting of actuals. There will be adjustments made. Mr. Baden will provide us with another version of this after the audit is completed. And then we'll see the numbers again as they really roll out. There'll be some adjustments and so forth that will go along. I'm happy to say we've never had any problems in our audits. I will also note that we never went over budget in what we did budget for, except for, I think, was it under general payroll, we're over by 1%. I mean, 0.1%. I mean, yeah, so we didn't go over the budget that we put together. So I'm happy to say that. However, as Mr. Barr mentioned, the revenues were hit really hard. And the main areas of revenue that were hit the hardest was hall rentals and the red light cameras. So this is where we're, and then also actually police citations, because as the governor put certain things on hold in the state of emergency, a lot of that went to the side too. So those were our revenue. I'm happy to say Mr. Baden had calculated, if you look at the end of the report, we wind up in a deficit of $105,000 and 696 cents. So that was the deficit for the year. And Mr. Bates' calculation of what we can utilize as lost revenue from the American Rescue Plan is far greater than that loss. So we will be able to make it up for that grant. Thank you so much, Congress, who voted for it, and the president for thinking about us and our taxpayers, because that's who it impacts, is our taxpayers. And we get those lost revenues back. With that said, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2.
What are we voting for? We need to restate it to approve that. Yes. I vote yes. Thank you.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4,
Aye.
and the mayor votes aye. All right, so this report is now approved. Moving on, we'll go to the police report. Chief.
Before I get to that, we forgot something.
Oh, I forgot something. What is it?
All that the web page with all the information on.
Oh.
It was a good idea, but.
See, I know, all right, so anyway, because we are doing our meetings virtual, we're doing them in person, so if you come in person, you can come and take the papers off of the table of what we're holding as the mayor council on our desk. So what we've done is we've set up a little spot out on our website that anyone who is on the Zoom call can actually go to that location and bring up these documents as well.
Good.
So they'd be able to do it on the documents. I didn't want to send all the documents out by email because these are documents that we need to approve or not approve. And they should not go out unless a person is here or listening for the context of what happens. So Chief, if you put that into the Zoom chat where people can actually go, then those people will be the ones who know to go out there for the chat. Or you could do it after you're reported.
Fix that. I don't know. Okay. Well, anyway, these, but I'll we will post both the treasury report and the police report on the website. So if anybody missed it, doesn't get it tonight, it'll be on there by tomorrow. For the police report for June 2021, there were 85 calls for service in the town, which also includes traffic stops. Of those calls for police service, it resulted in 5 police reports being written, which is about half the normal month. That included a simple assault on June 1st. A resident was assaulted inside a home in Colmar Manor by an acquaintance. No injuries were reported. That incident actually was reported outside of Colmar Manor. They went home and Prince George's County responded and took care of that. There was a fraud reported in the 3400 block of 42nd Avenue. On June 9th, a resident discovered that's a number of bank accounts without their knowledge. On the 11th, officers made a trespassing arrest in the 4200 block of Bladensburg Road at the old car wash. There was a group of subjects there. They were asked to move along. All did, one kind of stood his ground, wouldn't leave, and was arrested for trespassing. Normally, in a case like that, they issue a citation and the person leaves. In this case, the person refused to provide identification, said to go through the whole arrest and take them up to Marlboro for the commissioner. So tied everybody up for a couple hours, but at the end of the day, he was charged with trespassing. Property damage reported in the 3600 block of Bladensburg Road at the shopping center. The vehicle was damaged while parked. And on the 18th, a vehicle impound in the 3600 block of 43rd Avenue as a result of several parking violations. What notable on here is there's no thefts. Usually we have several thefts from autos, and particularly in shopping centers and shoplifting as well, but none during the month of June. For traffic accidents, we had 4 reportable traffic accidents. There's usually a couple more. Reportable is that there's such as a hit and run or a damage or an accident resulting in injury or a vehicle that has to be towed. On the 10th, there was a traffic accident on Bladensburg Road at 43rd Avenue that did result in one of the vehicles having to be towed. On the 14th, a hit and run accident reported at Newton Street and 40th Avenue. That was very minor. It's just a side view mirror on a vehicle was damaged. On the 15th, a bit more serious hit and run at 40th Place and Newton Street, where occupied vehicle was struck. No injuries, but the struck vehicle had to be towed and the striking vehicle fled. And finally, on the 30th, we had a traffic accident in the 4300 block of Monroe Street. No injuries reported there. Officers made 14 traffic stops during the month, resulting in 39 violation notices. And as has been mentioned a couple times, is increased enforcement of parking violations. That has begun. We're doing I call them the obvious part, the ones that everybody knows you shouldn't do, and that's park on yellow curves, blocking sidewalks, things of that nature. That has increased, and added to that is vehicle registration violations. Because of COVID, the expirations had essentially been extended. That expired June 30th. So everybody who's kind of been putting off getting those vehicles registered, you've passed the deadline, and we are issuing citations for that. If you haven't done it, I'd suggest that you park the vehicle in your driveway until you get the MVA and get that taken care of. We have received our the parking permits. So we're ready to start issuing more parking permits in volume, which will result when we start sending out notices that we're going to enforce the parking permit program starting this month. So we get every resident's going to get a notice in the mail about how that works, kind of a reminder, and we'll be moving forward with that this month. For our code report for the month of June. There's about 30 violation notices throughout the town during the month. Most result or involve trash containers, the plastic in the recyclables, and trash not set out on the correct days, and problems with bulk. When I say problems, that folks tend to set out their bulk far too early. It's picked up on Wednesday, but we find it out on the curb on Monday, that kind of thing. Also, about 7 high grass notices. I was out with code today, and there's far more than 7 of them out there. So we're gonna be increasing that. I don't know if it's the rain or whatever, but everybody seems to have, not everybody, but there's a lot of folks that need to get the grass cut. So there'll be some more notices about that placed out. And I think finally on August 3rd, the National Night Out from 6 p.m. to 8:30, and we're going to hold it on Bladensburg Road at 40th Place. The town has a lot there, and that's between Burger King and the Taco Bell. We hope to have some activities for not only children, but for adults, some information regarding crime prevention. We've sent a request to the state's attorneys. Hopefully they will have a representative there, all our officers there, probably most of our town staff. Be a good opportunity for everybody to kind of get together and get to know each other. That's all I have.
Thank you,
All
Chief.
right. Thank you very much, Chief. Is there a motion to accept Chief's report, police
May I
report?
just ask a question? So Chief, those with parking permits presently do or do not need to get a replacement permit?
Do not at this point. No.
Do not.
No, do not at this point.
Okay.
We were, when we send that notice out, we have an allotment. Well, now we have plenty because the new supply had come in, but we were running a bit low and we really didn't want to run out. And then we started issuing temporary permits and all that. So, but we will not be changing the permit style in the near future.
Will people be ticketed for having a permit if their car is not registered in the town? If you see a vehicle with out of town or out of state license, but they have a Colmar Manor parking
We won't.
They will-
resident sticker?
If that happens, let me know, because we should not, staff here should not be issuing a permit to an out-of-state registered vehicle. And we did have a few of those out. As far as I know, we've called them all and revoked them and.
Okay, I think I saw one the other day. I just, once. And then the last thing I had, this was about when we first started talking and you were talking about the documents that were posted online for folks on Zoom to access.
Mhm.
So which link on our webpage is that?
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
You
Okay.
have to be on Zoom
Oh, you have to be on Zoom.
so that you'll see it in the chat, and that takes you where you can go get the documents.
So they're not, that's what I understood as well. They're on the website. So I was looking for them on our website. They're just posted in the chat through like a Google Drive link. Is that what we're talking about?
Probably.
Or is it
yeah,
attached?
hyperlink.
I would think we would give it to everybody that's for instance, at home, they could be watching or and then be able to go to the. And for those on Zoom, I'm trying to get it to you. This chat thing is,
Okay,
it's beating me up.
so is.
Chief? Yeah. Okay. 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 Thank you.
Thank you.
That's probably the easier way. I was taking the actual document.
I need to get a laptop.
Wow.
Well, there was one point when we went paperless in our meetings too, but we actually had,
Laptops.
Tablets?
we had tablets, right? So that we put everything on the tablet and we could just look at everything right there. Maybe one day we'll get back there again, but eventually we had to go back to paper.
So, yeah, I just have one question to the chief. So just walking today to the town hall, I saw a red cab parked, near the town hall. And it looked like the ticket was issued, but it's been sitting there. The ticket has been like there for a while through rain and shine, it seems
Can-
like. So what
Um,
happens? What happens to the car? How long it will have to sit there before it gets towed?
Can we take a vote and a second so that the discussion
that
can
the-
be
okay,
included in the
then-
minutes?
All right, I motion to accept the report.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, okay.
Discussion.
Yeah, because your discussion is about.
Okay, great.
yeah.
Well, we had Mr. Bowles also asked the question, so I just thought I'd chime in as well. Do you know which car I'm talking about?
I know which, and I will-
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know a citation had been issued on it, but I'll look into it.
Yeah, but like, what's the timeline? What is like the protocol that we deal, how do we deal with like these? Is it the vehicle considered abandoned?
If it's by town code, it's supposed to be moved every 48 hours. That's may not be practical. If it has valid tags and doesn't have any other thing wrong with it, like a flat tire, and if it's sitting with a flat tire, I think we notice that right away and we put stickers on it. It's got valid tags, it sits there, it looks like a regular parked car. We don't aggressively go to
Right.
try to get it moved or towed it,
Mhm.
but oftentimes residents call and say, hey, I live at this house and this car's been sitting in front of my house for a week. Those times we'll come out and put a sticker on
Right.
it. Usually it moves. And
Mhm. So this car is parked in the non-resident parking, so it can just stay there? Like,
no, it should, if it's not moving for weeks at a time, we will get it moved. But could it park there every day? Yes.
mhm. Great, thank you.
So the question is that there's a vehicle that you observed that has a sticker put on it that it's been there for too long, but it's still staying there. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing?
so, well, what I noticed, there was a citation issued on the windshield, but it looked like it's been a while since the citation has been there because of the quality of the paper was like
Diminished.
damaged by sun or rain, and it's,
Mhm.
so, and I just, because I walked to town hall these past few days and even last week, it's been there.
Mhm.
That's why I asked this question, what is the protocol generally in this type of situation? And so do you know how long it has the vehicle been parked there, Chief?
No, I
Like,
don't offhand. I know that if you go back to in one of those police reports, one was an impound, and it's really that exact circumstance. It was a residential street, and where that vehicle parked that you're referring to is there's no houses there, so we don't get any calls on it.
Right.
But where this other one was, somebody called, said, hey, this car's been parked here too long. We ran it, it came registered to an out of town person. We put a sticker on it.
yeah.
It stayed there too many days and we towed it.
Mhm. Also, we have vehicles in town that are parked on the private property, but they have no registration and have no lights, the flat tires out. And this is across the property from the resident who I met with. So where he has an issue with the tree, right? The dead tree. And on that premises also is it looks like an abandoned vehicle. And I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. So does anyone live in that residence? Because the vehicle is abandoned and the trees that,
And yes, someone does live there. There's a number of issues with the property that we're addressing.
well, yes, they're definitely overgrown there and
Mhm. So, so I guess what I'm hearing, so the car that she's talking about with the sticker, it should be towed, right?
I'll look, I don't know all the
Right.
circumstances with it. I'm not personally
Understand.
familiar with a citation. I know that.
I understand
But I'll
that,
check.
but yeah, if you could take a look at that. I will just share, Councilmember Hobbs, the chief knows that I have also pointed out like the dead cars in people's driveways or really crazy time, flat tires and things like that. And I can say that I know he's been working with Mr.
Wait,
Wade she's been working with Mr. Wade of catching some of these things up and picking up on taking care of what's going on there. So the big thing for me is also been when stop work orders go on a property. And it just seems like a stop work orders on a property for a year, which doesn't make sense. If it's stopped, there should be a process that follows after that to make sure that it then takes it to wherever it's supposed to go. And that just hadn't been happening. So the chief is working on it, right?
Yes.
I hope you guys might have noticed that there was a lattice, horrible dying lattice on Newton Street, down the street here. The lattice, you can't miss it because it's right across the street from a beautiful house that is well kept and whatever, and they have to look out every day at this lattice that was just falling apart or whatever. It's just going crazy. Well, it's fixed. The lattice is cleaned up. It's a big deal, to have that changed. So there's a lot to do.
There's a derelict car in my ward that was ticketed by our folks quite a while ago. And the resident ripped off part of the tag, I'm imagining in anger, but the car still sits. And we also have an open hole on our street that a stop work order was put on the property. And the fear of the reporter of the property was that someone could fall in the hole, but the hole is still open. So there's a stop work order, but there's a giant hole in the ground. So anyway, that's what's
Anybody else?
happening with that. I thought I had another question, but I guess I have dropped it in my brain. All right, I'll shut up.
So Chief, I just wanted to ask you about these disorderlies. Seems like a lot.
The disorderly one, they're entered in here. This is when someone calls in and this is what the dispatcher puts in. And almost all of those are probably, there's somebody in front of my store, there's somebody in the McDonald's and they won't be that translates to a
Okay,
disorderly.
so the fact that there's no police report was written indicates that it was not.
It did not elevate
Elevate.
to elevate to an arrest or anything. Most of these are that they call the police or somebody who's standing in front of my store that won't leave or in my store that won't leave. That's usually the nature of it. And we ask them to leave and they leave. With the exception of that one at the car wash, it wouldn't go. And that ended up with the arrest, the trespass arrest.
Got it. All right, well, thank you very much for that. Any
One
other-
more question, Chief. There's a set of lines. I don't think we've spoken about this. Where 37th and 38th come together right across from what's going to be Blues Park. There's a set of low hanging lines there that have got the red tags on them. Have they been fixed? I didn't notice when I drove through tonight, but they've been hanging low.
I went
for-
down there today and I couldn't, I will check on it tomorrow. I know which house it goes to and
Yeah, Matthew's
I
house.
spoke with the owner and he said that it had been called in. And cars can get under, the big truck is not gonna have it.
Are those tags from us or are they from the utility company?
Not from us. Usually those orange tags, usually a utility comes out, and just puts a stick, I guess it signifies that they've been there or something, but it's not from us.
Okay. And then I have one last question. The parking structure, why am I not thinking of the right word? Our policy. Was that passed by ordinance? And can we get a copy of it? Because I'm not sure I've seen it. I went online and I saw the application for a parking permit, but do we have a document that we can review that actually this is how our system works?
So. Yes. I'll
Oh,
get it
okay.
to you.
Thank you.
Now I'm trying to summarize and put in a letter to residents, because the ordinance itself, if you send that out,
The ordinance.
it's quite confusing to the layman.
Yes, and
But the
speaking of
ordinance is
which,
here. I'm
yes,
sorry.
yeah, no worries. Speaking of which, I know, so we passed the noise ordinance, but I think we never communicated to the residents, like in the plain language to explain to them, this is these are the new rules.
Yeah,
And we
there's
want
several
you to
things that
follow
we're
them.
trying to summarize these ordinances because our ordinances are complex. And
Right,
so coming down to pieces of language that will be suitable at least for this newsletter, we'll have like at least a paragraph or something that'll say something about it, when we get that out. But we want
That
to put
we
together,
can,
it's
yeah,
like a-
just put some sort of like an information page, and then circulate and say, the council passed this ordinance on this day, these are the new rules.
yeah, they're, so anyway, he's working on summarizing these things because they're, if we just take what's there, I mean, it takes a minute. I mean, you can do it, go and look and like start pulling out the pieces that you need to go
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
the people
So it's-
that makes the most difference as opposed to the depth of everything that's in it while still telling them what you need to tell them. So we'll get something out. Just take a little bit of time, you know, to get it out to 'em. Was anybody have any additional questions for the chief? All right, so I'll call for a vote. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
I,
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4,
Aye.
and Mayor votes aye. Thank you, chief.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, next item on the agenda is on community reports. So the green team.
so
do you
yeah,
have any
so,
additional-
well, yeah, I basically mentioned in my board report, touched upon the green team report. Just to summarize, we're meeting on July 20th to get a joint green team meeting with Cottage City. It will be in Colmar Manor, outside if weather permits, and the place will be determined on Thursday and further communicated. And we're encouraging more members of the community to join the green team. Thank you.
Councilmember, what time of day?
That would be from 7 PM.
7 PM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we usually meet at, sorry, 6:30
I
or.
think it's 6:30.
Sorry, okay, so let's keep
6:30.
it 6:30.
6:30?
Reiterate the date for 20.
Okay, July 20th, Tuesday,
20th.
Tuesday at 6:30 PM.
Do we have, we got a garden club report already. Is there any updates from Anacostia Watershed Society?
Not a big, I haven't met with them as of recently. The only thing that I have to announce is that they're continuing their apprenticeship program. If anyone's looking for employment, they have jobs open inside of Anacostia Watershed Society as well. But it's a good opportunity to get some education on the river and different maneuvers and strategies towards irrigation. So I would definitely advise people to check that out.
All right, okay, thank you. Any report from Anacostia Trails Heritage Area?
Actually, just a short one. I actually got in touch with, I met with Megan Bacco at MML, and I missed our last quarterly meeting, but I am officially now listed on the board with her. So we're going to do a walk around Colmar Manor and talk about some of our sites here and have lunch. And I'll be going to the next meeting of ATHA, which is July 23rd.
Okay, July 23rd.
So, and I'll have whatever reports available after that in
Okay,
August, I
awesome.
suppose. And while we're on me, should I just mention that Chief mentioned National Night Out in August. Miss Blue asked me to allow, to let everyone know that the July Neighborhood Watch meeting is canceled in lieu of meeting at the time of the National Night Out. If, however, you have any concerns and you want to reach out to Miss Blue or myself, you can do so. Again, my email is dbowles, BOWLES @colmarmanor.org. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you. And if you could follow up with Athel on the trail that the Dueling Creek Trail?
One of the first conversations we're going to have. Yep.
Yeah, find out what's going on there. Awesome.
Did they help? Did we apply for, they have, in the meeting that I met with Abby earlier this year, there was talk of getting an AFA grant for the Neighborhood Design Center for the small business marketplace. Did we apply for that grant, or did they come through with money to help us?
I don't think we were, I think they were going to apply for it, but I don't remember, because I don't remember us being asked to apply for it.
I remember at the meeting, they said at that point, when the grant program opened, they would be able to help us with money to pay Neighborhood Design Center. And then they said after that, if once we got our design center design, they would sort of help us with applying for matching grants, larger matching grants than AFTA could provide us with. That was what was spoken of at that meeting.
Okay, I'm just searching my brain and memory because this is park and plant. They were supposedly putting this into the park and planning budget cycle. So that park and planning would be the one that is
Even
taking
better.
care of getting it done. And they came to us to show us the different designs that they were suggesting, but they all went through park property.
That's even better. No,
So-
at the meeting that Abby led for us and Afra was there, that's what was discussed at that time.
Okay,
So,
all right.
okay.
So
So that was
anything
paid
that
for
we
through
can do to
Maryland.
help though, I mean, because we have gotten grants before for our playgrounds that are park and planning, but in order for us to get it done, we went out and got the grant. So that, and then we have to get their approval for everything after that. But sometimes it's hard to get them to put money in their own budget. So it's in our town. So if we want to get it done sometimes, so that might have been a part, I don't remember having that conversation though.
I don't think you were in the meeting, but the AFA advice was, we can't give you the kind of money you're talking about, but we can give you a smaller grant to help, say, perhaps pay.
Because then if we have a
But if it's
design,
been
we have,
paid for by Maryland Parks, even better.
yeah, well, it would be good to find out what their status is with their communication with them.
Okay.
That
I'll
would
bring
help
up
us.
with her too and see if, or sorry, with them and see if there's other avenues for funding in that way too.
All right, awesome. And if it is something else, we can get Jackie Goodall involved.
Great. Yeah, she was at that meeting that you set
Okay.
up for us. It was Abby and myself and Jackie and Aaron Markovich and a couple of other people from AFA. That was back in January, February.
Okay, great. Is there a PGCMA report?
No, they're not meeting. Membership is not meeting this month, and then look out for retreat next month.
Okay, all right, cool. Any other reports? All right, well, in the future, I see we're growing some committees, and so we'll be able to have some additional community reports. All right, now I'll open up to resident comment. We don't have anybody in this room. How many we have on Zoom?
Yeah, hello.
Three comments?
No, 3 people.
Oh, 3 people. Oh, okay. So do we have any resident comment?
I'll
Put
take
it
it.
in, well, yeah, chat, put your name and your street, put it in the chat if you have any questions or comments. Or appreciations.
Mayor, if someone
Let's
is,
appreciate-
sorry,
Let's appreciate each other.
if someone is watching via television, is there a number that they could call to reach us if they have a comment?
No, don't have anything out there for that.
Hmm.
Never had. It's a thought.
I think all the ways that people can be involved.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to think all the ways that people can be
Right.
involved.
That's a
And
good
unfortunately,
idea.
If you're watching on TV.
That's a
then
good idea.
You can't talk to us.
I know.
But it would require someone to submit the message to us like from off the phone, but I think that's doable. I believe that's doable.
Yeah.
If someone was at the phone, answer it,
Or we could have a
Or
town
we have
phone
a
here.
text call
or
text-
yeah,
the
something
number
like
to
that.
text to if you
Yeah.
have a comment.
Yeah, one of the town cell phones could be.
There's some chat in the,
Uh-huh.
there's some chat.
Got another venue, avenue.
Yeah. Because most people have some kind of a texting phone. No comments? Okay, well, with no comments, I'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the minutes. We have received several weeks, which brings us up to date for everything except for last week and for a minute. So if there's anyone who's ready, because we've had them for a while now, anyone would like to make a motion, either the minutes in a group or as a, we are talking about February the 9th, 2021, which is a special work session that had previously been presented and we tabled it for corrections. There's an April 6th, 2021 work section. We have an April 13th public hearing on the sump pump ordinance. We have April 13th town meeting. On April 20th, there was a budget work session. On May 4th, our regular work session. On May 11th, a public hearing on the noise ordinance. On May 11th, a public hearing on the budget ordinance. On May 11th, a town meeting. On June 1st, the regular work session, and on June 8th, the regular town meeting. Is there a motion to accept these minutes?
Councilmember Hartman will make a motion to accept all work session minutes.
Work session only or?
I mean,
town hall?
sorry, which one was I missing? The town hall meeting and.
All the meetings?
Yeah, all the meetings. All the meetings.
We've got hearings and work sessions. Yeah, and all that budget. Okay, there's a first, is there a second?
Councilmember Mendoza, I'll second that.
Mendoza. Okay, any discussion?
I noticed that they did what you asked for, Councilmember Bowles. It says right here, Councilmember Bowles abstained his vote. It said-
Yes, and I had a lovely note today from Abby, which I really appreciated. What a lovely, she wrote me today to thank me for helping her understand why the LGBTQ plus community prefers LGBTQ plus instead of just simply gay, because there's way more to being LGBTQ plus than being gay, which is a term that refers traditionally strictly to men who love men. So I helped her understand that and actually returned a question I have not received from her yet regarding the appropriate and preferred terminology when referring to the Hispanic or Latino or Latinx community. So I'm looking forward to that. So those kinds of dialogues I think are so wonderful. So thank you, Abby, for that.
Thank you. And anybody have any, I will just say I'm really happy to have minutes up to date. I know, I know that Mr. Baton's giving the credit to Irina. I appreciate that you got his attention because we've been asking for this for a really, really long
I
time.
really appreciate all the work that Abby has done on this. I think it would be easier for her too. Like it won't be hanging over her as a cloud every time. So she
Well,
can have,
it-
yeah.
As long
that's-
as the process is in place to say, do it now, you know,
Yeah.
that's the main thing. Because they do get up to date sometimes and then they all roll right behind. So
Exactly.
it's about having a deadline and making yourself accountable, like I had to with my newsletter. You know, you just have to put it out there and say, this is what we're gonna do
Exactly.
and make it out loud. Here,
Exactly. Once
everybody
you
knows.
voice it out, make a commitment, now you have to like stick to it.
That's right. You make the commitment, then you have to stick to it because you publicized it, you know. So we look forward to continuing down this road and I'll call for a vote. Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4,
Aye.
and the mayor votes aye. Thank you very much. We happen to have no old business at this time. We happen to have no new business at this time. Is there anyone who would like to make any comment for the good of the order?
I'm proud of you all.
I was gonna say, we're gonna finish early today.
Yeah, I'm proud of us very much. No old business. Come on, guys.
Not early, on time.
But you know what, guys? We took care of so much business in the first 3 months and 4 months of your
Term.
terms that it's time to not have extra business. Because
No
there was a
complaints.
lot going on. All right, so I look forward to us all getting together for National Night Out. And then we'll have a work session unless there's,
So just to clarify, so National Night Out is on the 3rd, so is our work session. So after the night out, we come.
no.
No, no.
I felt that one.
Yeah. Unless we have something urgent to take care of, we normally abandon that meeting for National Night Out. And then the next week, we can decide to have we generally will have a work session and not a town meeting, because then we need to take care of some business.
So the 10th August, well, Be a town meeting or the work session
I would suggest a work session,
to replace or have both just subsequent
just to replace.
to replace.
Right. Most towns don't have any meetings in July and August, but our charter requires that we have at least one meeting a month. So it's just better if it's a work session, because if it's a town meeting and we haven't had a work session and we haven't had a time to talk about it, we might want to be talking about it at a town meeting.
So is 8/17 then our town public meeting?
We
No.
normally just do
So
the one
8/10 is a
meeting.
work
We're
session
not gonna have
with
any,
no public meeting?
yes, but
We
So-
normally just do the one.
is it something we
meeting.
have to vote on right now, like, or
No,
no?
Hmm?
I don't think you do. It's consensus.
Okay,
I
so
would
I'm
move
just
on.
trying to
So, yeah,
understand
so
because
the
my schedule
consent-
gets crazy
I
in
think you
August.
were writing things down when Mayor was explaining.
So National
that
Night Out is
Is
8/3.
the third,
Mhm.
yes. So typically that would be our work session, but we're not
So-
gonna have the work session after the night out.
So now.
We're gonna have it on the 10th,
So the 10th is a work session.
a work session.
Okay, and so when is the public meeting?
No,
We have not had a second meeting in August 4th forever.
But we said we were going to vote on,
We have to
I
vote on.
thought we
something.
said we were going to vote on the charter amendments in August.
No, we said that we were going to bring we're going to use the work session to talk about how we want to mold charter amendments, because we haven't even written.
Misunderstood.
We
Okay,
don't have them yet. So I gave everybody the package last meeting so that we can work on putting together what we want to be in the charter amendments. Those were the points that I suggested that
okay, so no public meeting in August.
no public meeting.
And
in
then what
August.
about, we had talked about adding a meeting to go over the ARPA.
Yeah, we still need to do that. I was thinking that, so Mr. Bates on vacation this week, but we agreed last week to put out RFP. So I'm expecting him to take care of that, getting that RFP put together, or Ms. Goodall, whatever. And then I think we should have the meeting after, but we can have one before. I think we should have it after we bring a consultant on board. So we've got 3 years to spend the money, unless we have something urgent. I think we should work on understanding everything,
Mhm.
assessing our community, and focus on recommendations. So I'm thinking that maybe we should have the meeting in September, October timeframe. But those are just my thoughts.
Selfishly, as a professor, particularly professor of performing arts, October and November become incredibly heavy. I would ask if we could consider it earlier than October, if people are open to the idea, just being selfish.
Well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we did some brainstorming sessions so that when the person that we hire for consultant comes in, they already know what we sort of brainstormed on. And I was hoping that we might be able to do it with some residents. So I guess I'll throw some dates out there. I mean, we want to do it before school starts. Is that what you're?
Well, there is no such thing as before school starts, because that's August 13th.
Is it really?
Howard goes back to classes on August 13th.
Oh, wow.
And then the 20th, I think the 23rd is our first day of actual class, but
Okay, so there's no before.
there's no
school.
before class begins. It's just, there's.
So maybe, okay, so how about we try to do something, so I was trying to, and I haven't gotten out to you yet, because I wanted to do a council retreat. We always have at least one council retreat per year, but sometimes two. And I just didn't get to sending you guys out the information on doing it, because a retreat would be like a whole day, kind of, most of the day kind of a thing. So if any of you guys have any Saturdays or Sundays, I don't know what, I'll just throw some stuff out there in the next couple of days and see what sticks, but I want to do that too. So that's sort of kind of like is making for a lot of stuff to do.
Sounds nice though.
Huh?
I said the retreat sounds nice though.
Yeah, we should do the retreat.
Here with
What
food.
is the
like
retreat
here in-
like?
Huh?
What is a retreat like?
So
Typically.
we normally, I mean, it can evolve in different ways, but what we've normally done is like, we'll come in sort of late morning, about 10 or something like that. Start talking about vision, missions, you know, what do kind of like, where do we want to see things and so forth. Have lunch together and then actually pre-identify which areas we might want to talk about. It might be public works, it might be code, it might be administration, it might be recreation, it might be community outreach, but we pre-select which one topics we want to talk about, and then we come up with some action items that we can all take in order to improve in that particular area. And which is, it's always come out good, where we come together on what we're all thinking about, that everybody gets to participate in some way in helping not just the residents, but also helping the staff to get to the goals that we want them to get to and coming together. So does that answer?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Now, last year, we were actually going to, we're gonna go away, right? Remember, we had actually said, well, let's go and do it somewhere else, 'cause we always just do the conference room. But I forget what happened, maybe it was COVID.
Yeah,
Really,
it was COVID.
it's just like, cut that out. You know?
It would be great to do some activity together, you know?
Yes, an activity would be
Not
nice.
just, yeah, like lunch and all that was great, but it would be great to have something we can do together. That's, I always say, that's how I, bond and relate to people, like
Do you
by
wanna
doing
play
things
Twister?
together.
No.
I don't
Somebody
even know what
would
that
accuse
is, but I'm
somebody of something
interested.
in these days.
What?
No Twister. I ain't getting that close to nobody. We'll
I
be in
don't
a
know.
courtroom.
So we'll need chief president.
Twister is a game where there are different colored dots on the ground and you have to move your hand. You end up in a pile of people all tied up to one
This,
another.
right
Oh,
arm
I
red,
see.
right leg blue.
In
I-
2021, it's
I've-
not a good game to play. Let's just say it.
But we are all vaccinated, so it's.
I'm
Well,
talking about
we could play
It might be nice to do a team building exercise or to have
Yeah.
someone
Like
come
that.
in
Yes,
who
agreed.
specializes in team building. I'd also like to lobby for a charter review with our town attorney to just sort of go through our founding documents
And
together.
that would be good for the retreat, just so I have it all in one day.
Yeah.
Flush it up. Have
Yeah.
flushed it.
There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to go over, and there's a lot of different things. We could even use work sessions sometimes to not have so many line items, but just one that could be the charter. Matter of fact, I mean, I think it's a great idea in August that maybe we use the work session to go through the charter as, August tends to be a quiet month for dramatic things, and so it's a good time to try to do that. But are you gonna be here in August?
Well, good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Is the best way to say it. I was supposed to have back surgery yesterday, but my pacemaker decided it was time to quit. Battery ran out after 15 years, 16 years. And now I have to have this replaced. That will happen on Friday. And then, once that heals sufficiently to be working properly, we're gonna schedule some MRIs, and have some sort of back surgery, and then maybe some neck surgery, and maybe some thumb surgery.
We have a bionic attorney.
Your lips to God's ear, as long as we don't have a dead thing.
That would not be a good choice.
So, yes, I'm going to be available, whether it's electronically or whether it's in person.
We'll appreciate it either way.
Mhm.
And I thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Awesome. I'll talk to you about how you want to approach the conversation?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw some dates out there for retreat, and then I got some dates out there. So retreat is like all day. The team building is exactly what I think you were also talking about. It's kind of a team building.
Yes.
activity thing. Have to think about how to go about that. But for the AR American Rescue Plan, maybe we schedule something for Saturdays are really getting really tight now. The town hall being rented and pop-ups.
We don't have to be here.
How did I rent this?
My head doesn't have an AC. I
It
hope
will-
by then.
it will by
but,
then.
so you're welcome.
So maybe, what we can do is, why don't you guys all try to find one resident in town who wants to participate in this endeavor? And then we can try a date, an evening other than our Tuesday and have a meeting.
I'm
How's
sorry,
that?
I didn't understand.
This is to
The
talk
resident?
about brainstorm on things that we can do for American Rescue Plan.
Ah, okay. So find one resident that would like, if you have more, if I have two, is that okay?
I think so, as long as we just don't go over.
The residents that have to do.
Find one resident in each ward who would like to participate in the discussion of how to use the ARPA funding.
American Rescue Plan Act. That's what it is. And so I'll throw some dates up there. It's gonna be during the week. I have to look at the calendars. I want to jump around and do you go to AWS board member meetings? And you go to ATHA, you go PGCMA.
After July, yeah.
So I'll just try to find out what the dates are, all that stuff, and find a date in there and see if we can come together. Maybe 2 hours is what we plan to do it in. And
Would it be helpful for us to send you like all of our dates that are blacked out so that you can kind of?
yeah, that'd be great if you got out dates already. That way we're not just poking around.
Through September or?
Yeah, September. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Come on, Malik.
You know it. Councilmember Harden will make the motion stated.
Councilmember Bowles will second it.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned.
What's the record? We set a new record.
Setting new records.
It's a
Every
nice
week.
record. Let's play both sides. You even know what a record is?